Out of all the gimmicks for foam dart blasters, which ones do you think are the rarest? Is it the ones that shoot multiple darts at a time? Is it the ones that have sounds? It's the ones that have lights? No, actually, it's a different type of gimmick. It's one with a smoking barrel. So Xshot sent over the Xshot Insanity Smoking Barrel, and as you can imagine, it has a smoking barrel, and how that actually achieves that, we will get into it much later in the review, but let's just touch on the gimmick itself, a smoking barrel. Very rare. The only other ones that I know of, and there could be possibly others, is Busby. They had one or two different blasters that allowed some type of smoke effect to happen once you pulled the trigger and a dart flew out of the barrel. I'm not quite sure the exact delivery mechanism on it, but I think it had some sort of cartridge that you would have to replace, and nowadays those are extremely hard to find, if you can find them at all. But that's the past. Let's talk about the future. We have the Xshot Insanity Smoking Barrel. And here it is out of the box, along with all of the Insanity attachments attached to it. Now, the other thing that you'll notice on this one that we're not going to set up for this review, this will attach to the Insanity tripod, so you could have this be the centerpiece for any sort of Insanity combination you could possibly think of. This blaster requires 3 AA batteries, but it's not for firing the darts, not even close, because this is an entirely spring-powered blaster. What the 3 AA batteries are for is for the LEDs at the top, as well as the smoking barrel feature that uses water vapor to achieve a smoke-like effect. Now, because this is the most exciting part of the blaster, I wanted to get to this right away. So there is a switch underneath the handle, and that switch, what that'll allow you to do is activate the LED lights at the front as well as the smoking effect. Now, to get that going, you have to press this orange button at the top. It's hard to see with some studio lightings, but we'll turn that off a little later. Actually, you know what? That's coming through pretty good. And as you start to see, when I press that button, that water vaporizes in the barrel and it comes out. What's cool about it is because it kind of pools at the end of the barrel, once you prime this back and you fire it, you can start to see that puff of, not smoke, it's just water through the barrel. It's just a really great effect. And also, if you notice, when I squeeze the trigger on this, the LED lights at the front light up and then they dim. It almost looks like a muzzle flash, which this is why this gimmick is not very common in foam dart blasters, is because it does simulate some real world analogs. Admittedly, this is a big giant blue and orange blaster. There is a lot of safety features here, and something like this is just plain fun. In fact, it's not all that strange of a gimmick to put in a toy. Blaster, yes, maybe, but I remember years ago, there are some other toys that have this similar effect in it. The Bowser, I believe, from Jack's Pacific, the Mario movie one, as well as a How to Train Your Dragon, Toothless, from How to Train Your Dragon 3 or 4, whatever. Before they started getting into the live actions, this effect, where you had water vapor coming out the mouth, barrel in this case, is achievable. It is a thing that we can put into toys, and to see it paired with such a really cool light-up gimmick, it's unusual, and it adds to the fun of the Insanity line. Because when we're talking about the Xshot Insanity line, we're not talking about super performance-based blasters. We're talking about something that's gimmicky, something that's fun, something that catches your attention. And a gimmick like this is just so cool. Just a little teaspoon of water. Use distilled water, by the way, because you want it not to gum up or gunk up any of the internals so that the free flow of the smoke can get out. Slight digression there. That is just such a good effect. Kind of forgot where I was going after telling you to use distilled water. It is a good warning, though. But let's get to the blaster itself, I think, after this, because this might look familiar. This might look like an Xshot Crusher, which you would be absolutely right. This is an Xshot Crusher with some extra cool stuff. But I suppose in the Insanity line, when they did the Halloween-themed Horror Fire edition, the Dreadhammer, the big one with like the blade that looked kind of like the brute shot from Halo, that is more similar to this. But it's all based on the Xshot Crusher, which is personally one of my favorite blasters of all time for a number of reasons. But it is a great, reliable blaster. It has the fun gimmick of it spinning. And in this case, we have smoking barrels and LEDs lighting up. What I want to do now is I want to put some darts through this because we have a 35 round chain. We could make that a whole lot longer if we wanted to, because this is compatible with other Xshot Crusher belts It's good to know, but I have some darts somewhere around here. I just got to find them and put them in this thing. I suppose while we're getting this ready, if you've gotten to this point in the video and you like blasters, if you like action figures, if you like pop culture, collectibles, anything like that, I would love it if you hit the subscribe button and stay tuned to the Ri-Fi channel. You'll get more videos like this. We talk in depth about toys. We talk about topics related to toys, collectibles, trends, all that kind of fun stuff. And blasters are a big part of that. This is how everything got started. So I'm just gonna finish putting in these darts, but please just hit that subscribe button. So I think for the next couple darts here, we're just gonna fire this with some smoking barrel going, all the lights on, as well as just giving you my impressions. Then I'll turn some of these lights off. Hopefully you get to see the smoke effect as well as the LED lights a little better. We'll talk about what I like, what I don't like, anything I would have changed, and of course we'll bring it all home with some final thoughts. How does that sound? So right now we're gonna give this a go. As you can see here, we got the barrel smoking, and we are going to fire some off. That is just a delightful blaster to use. Xshot Crusher DNA here. It's a little bit crunchy, but you get a sense of it working. You get a sense of when it's primed. A lot of fun. So I'm gonna turn off some lights, and then hopefully we'll see the lights and smoking barrel effect a little bit better. So here we go. We've got the water filled up a little bit because it was running low. It doesn't hold that much water. Now, so one thing about the smoke effect is you're going to want to use either lukewarm water or at least warmer water, not hot water. Cold water is going to make it all kind of cool down. The warmer the water, the more closer to room temperature it is, the better it will be. There we go. Now you can see that's so much better without the lights on. And yes, I did get a few slam fires in there. Let me get some more lights on. So there we go. That is the Xshot Insanity Smoking Barrel. And if you're curious where that smoking barrel water fills up, it's right at the front. There's a hatch right here. And you can see that there's this rubber plug that you have to carefully fill with water. And let's just get into it. That is one thing I would have liked to have seen changed, just a tiny little funnel, or at least a little squirter that would have allowed me to be a little more precise with the filling up. So I'm not spraying water everywhere, or at least dumping water on the floor or the ground and then having to clean that up myself. There was a feature with the Toothless toy that had this similar feature, and it was a really great thing. It kept the mess down. It's just water, but why dump water on the carpet or the rug or the floor if you don't have to? Since we are kind of on that similar train, one thing about the smoking barrel effect is that once you get it going, it looks amazing. But once it cools down, what happens when water cools down, when it's in vapor form? It starts to puddle, it starts to pool, it's to make dew. And the dew will get in the end of the barrel, and when you pick it up from the last time you used it, if you haven't wiped the barrel out, it'll be a little wet. It'll be a little moist in the end of the barrel, which when you pair water and foam, it's not always the best combination. Anybody who's left a foam dart out in the yard after it rained, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But overall, I am very impressed with this blaster. I like it a whole bunch. I think this is the definitive version of what the Xshot Crusher could be, because it has that fun gimmick, because the lights are done in a way not just to flash, but to light up and then dim back. To have the barrel that, with the air pressure behind the darts, because of the spring-loaded mechanism here, puffs out to give it that muzzle flash effect, is quite a thing to behold. And because it's not using any special cartridges like we've seen at least once with the Buzzbee stuff, we're able to reuse this time and time and time again. You just got to make sure you're using distilled water and that you're cleaning out the end of the barrel so that things just aren't pooling and possibly molding over time. I would worry over the years, decades possibly, that the rubber seal on the water will fail, that it won't hold the water, and that could cause a bigger mess. But again, that's a problem for decades down the road. A toy that's being used right now, this is extraordinarily fun, and the fact that it's tied with the whole Xshot Insanity line means that it has interoperability between all of the crazy blasters, and the fact that this fits a very unique niche that does something that any of the other Xshot Insanity blasters don't currently do, is just a wonderful thing. I think this blaster works best as a handheld. I like the option that it gives you to put it on the Insanity tripod, but that's something that I'm not interested in whatsoever. I want to have this be carried around. It gives it much more imposing presence that you're going to want to show off to friends, to have fun in the backyard with, and like, it's just a good gimmick that shows really well and even better up close in person. I'm so happy that Xshot continues to innovate and add new gimmicks to the Insanity line because it started off so strong. There was a part of me left wondering if they could keep that going, and with something like the smoking barrel, they absolutely can. This is just an absolutely fun blaster. I think the only place we can go from here adding gimmicks is sounds. We'll see if this gets added to other blasters though in the future. I sure hope it does. It's just a fun little quirky gimmick that I think a lot of people roleplay or mimic to begin with their blasters. So more blasters like this, please. I love the gimmicks, and this one works so well. And let's say in the off chance that the gimmick itself absolutely fails, you're still left with a great blaster based on the Xshot Crusher. I think this is a little more compact though. I kind of like the more compact look. Let me know in the comment section, do you like these types of gimmicks on blasters? Do you like the fact that it has these lights? Do you like the fact that it has this smoking barrel effect? Because it could be divisive. You know, at some point I'm gonna have to get all of my Insanity blasters out and then assemble them as one giant mega Insanity station. I don't even know if I'd be able to fire all the blasters. That would probably be the challenge, wouldn't it? But I think for now, our time talking just about the smoking barrel is done. If you can find this blaster, get it. It's great. Amazing gimmick, fun blaster. Sum it all up, that's all I know about the Xshot Insanity smoking barrel. One final thank you to Xshot for sending this out for me to get a look at. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.